Welcome to F16C. You are an active flight. The ESM and ECM systems for flight program are slowed down. The first step would be to learn all new systems and configure them for your mission. Some of these functions would have been accomplished before takeoff, and others while on the way to the battle area. Once this has been accomplished, you will leave active pause and bring electronic warfare systems fully online. You will first engage and destroy an SAA, then begin an attack run on the target. During this attack run, an SA-2 site will attempt to engage you. You will use radar jamming and chaff to keep this threat long enough to fire your JSON. Unless otherwise indicated, those highlighted button presses and spacebar presses will immediately forward the lesson to the next step. On your first time through the training, it is recommended that you listen carefully to each set of instructions before taking the action that will move the lesson forward. When ready to continue, press the spacebar. Turn on the Radar Warning Receiver, RWR, by pressing the power switch on the Threat Warning Aux panel. You should have heard the RWR power-up tones and see symbols on the azimuth display. Take a few moments to familiarize yourself with the RWR display controls. The one control you will likely use the most is the T button, which momentarily separates threat icons on the azimuth display, enabling you to see them all. When ready to continue, press the spacebar. Turn on the Countermeasures Dispensing System, CMDS, by turning the CMDS mode knob from off to standby. If the CMDS is working normally, you will see Go looming. Enable the Chaff Expendable Countermeasures Dispenser by placing the chaff switch to on. Note that you have 120 chaff rounds for this mission. Next, enable the RWR on the ECM jammer control panel. Provide power to the AN/ALQ 184 pod by placing the operating switch. Note that an S for standby has illuminated on the button for transmitter 1. Place the remaining transmitters 2 through 6 into standby by pressing their respective buttons. Each of the 6 transmitter buttons should be showing an S. The AN/ALQ 184 has 3 jamming modes: Mode 1, Radar Priority, Mode 2, ECM Priority, and Mode 3, Barrage Noise Jamming. For this mission, you will be using Jamming Mode 2. The AN/ALQ 184 gets information of the threats attempting to track and engage your aircraft from the RWR through the ECM control systems. To activate this function, back on the CMDS control panel, set the jammer source switch to on. As part of your mission planning, you would have analyzed the expected threats and optimized the expendable countermeasures programs. To demonstrate this procedure, you will now edit Chaff Program 1 to burst quantity 4. Burst interval 0.200 seconds. Sequence quantity 5. Sequence interval 1.5 seconds. When ready to continue, press the spacebar. On On the upfront controls, press the List button. Then press 7, CMDS. On the DED, you will first see the CMDS bingo display. Dabber Sequence to move to the Chaff Program 1 display. The data entry cursor is on the burst quantity, BQ line. On the upfront control keypad, press 4, then enter, and dabber down to BI. On the burst interval BI line, using the upfront controls keypad, press 0, 2, 0, 0, not highlighted, then enter. On the sequence quantity line, press 5, then enter. Then dabber down to SI. On the sequence interval SI line, press 1, 5, 0, then enter. Check the Chaff program, and if correct, you have now completed all the ESM ECM system configurations required before entering the combat area. Next, you will set power to the two weapons, beginning with the AGM-88C on the right MFD SMS. Switch to the AGM-154 Alpha by pressing OSB 6. And press OSB 7. The fire control radar will not be used in this mission and has been set to silent. We will be using the harm weapon display. On the left MFD, press OSB 14 FCR, then back on the right MFD. The harm attack display HAD will be employed. Press OSB 12 and then press OSB 12 again to bring up all the options. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the head. First, make the head soy with HOTAS DMS down 2 presses. Next, using HOTAS radar cursor, move the cursor over any symbol and HOTAS TMS forward to designate. Once designated, the symbol will be boxed in red. Along the top of the head, you will now see information about the radar's location, as seen from the HTS. From left to right, bearing to target, major axis length, minor axis length, arm status, PGM position quality, from 5 to 1. When ready to continue, undesignate the target radar with HOTAS TMS aft, then press the spacebar to continue and begin flying. As you enter the combat zone, bring the ECM systems fully online. Place the AN/ALQ-184 into Operate, OPR. Place the CMDS mode into Semi-Automatic, Semi, with the Mode Control knob. To enable automatic self-protection jamming, activated when a radar begins to track your Viper. HOTAS, CMS, aft. Looking at the transmitter buttons, all should now be showing A indicator lights. They are in active mode and ready to start jamming. Later in this lesson, when jamming begins, the indicators will change to blue T's for transmit. When ready to continue, press the spacebar. As the SA-8 goes active, target the SA-8 with HTS. On the right MFD HAD, designate the 8 symbol. On the left MFD, the weapon display should have changed to a POS display showing a locked SA-8. Press the spacebar to continue. As the HTS refines its position data, moving down from PGM5, the ellipse parameters will grow smaller. Continue the ingress. When the position accuracy reaches PGM2, press the spacebar. Turn towards the SA-8. On the upfront controls, press on the left MFD, shift the arm. This will give you a smaller launch acceptability region, LAR, as seen on the right MFD, HAD. When the 8 symbol is inside the LAR, launch the harm by pressing the weapon release button. Magnum. As the harm flies towards its target, watch your RWR indications. If the SA-8 starts to track you, the ECM light will come on as the AN-ALQ-184 begins jamming the SAM's radar. You will also hear the oral counter request. For this SAM, refrain from popping chaff unless you get the missile launcher. miss. You are in active pause. In the next part of this lesson, you will push in towards your target. Your goal is to get in zone with the JSOW in stable flight and launch the weapon. You will be doing this inside an SA-2 missile engagement zone, or MEZ. You will rely on your AN/ALQ-184 to prevent the SA-2 fan song fire control radar from gaining a good lock track as long as possible. At some point, the SA-2 site will achieve a lock and fire missile. At that time, you will need to maneuver and expend chaff to defeat the SAM, always coming back to the ingress heading and altitude. Once you have launched the JSOW, you will egress the MEZ. Press the spacebar when ready to continue. On the right MFD, press OSB 14 to bring up the SMS display. Then switch to the HSD with OSB 13. On the out-front controls, step to steer point 3. You are now ready to begin the strike run. Your goal is to disrupt the SA-2 tracking and defeat any SAM shots long enough to get within JSOW range. When you are ready to continue flying, press the spacebar. Airspeed between 450 and 500 knots. Monitor the RWR azimuth display. When you get tracking indicators, check that the ECM light is on and that all 6 AN/ALQ-184 jammers are transmitting. Blue T's. You can try to break the lock by expending chaff, but remember to save enough chaff to defend against a missile launch. If when you receive missile launch, pop chaff. Then begin basic maneuvers until the missile is defeated. Afterwards, return to the attack room. Once the JSOW is away, step to steer point 4 and maneuver as necessary. Press the spacebar to clear this message.
Counter. Counter. Altitude. Altitude. Counter.
may exit the train by pressing escape or continue to fly.